Hi, welcome to JWest Engineering. Today I'm going to discuss the finishes, stick options, and knobs that are available and that fit the RennShift Performance Shifter. First thing I'm going to talk about are the finishes. We have the aluminum finish and the black finish that are available. You can see here in the center we have the original 915, 911 shifter to compare to. As far as the sticks, you can see here I have one of each of the aluminum and the black finish, and these are both finishes are available in different lengths. We have two lengths. One is the stock length and the other is 2-inch extended. And I'll show you here that the elbow piece, the angle is the same between the two. The only difference is up at the very top where the shift knob mounts. There's 2-inch extension on the longer one to raise it up and slightly further back, so it's a easier reach for the driver from the steering wheel down to the shift knob. Okay, in this comparison you can see there's a little bit of parallax error with the video, but this is a RennShift with the short stick, the standard stick, also known as stock stick, and the 915, both with stock knobs, and that knob ends up in the same position. It's vertically the same, and fore and aft is the same in the car when they're in neutral. One of the other options you have with the RennShift while I'm discussing the sticks is that the stick can rotate left and right, and so you can have it straight back. It'll be perfectly centered between the seats along the tunnel, or you can move it over to the side slightly. That moves your shift knob left and right to position it differently if it may be, hitting against the seat, or you just want it further away. You move it over more toward the passenger side. So the first thing people try to figure out when they approach the 901 or 915 shifter installation is, how do I get that shift knob off? It's not obvious, and sometimes people will pry at the little pattern on the top, try to pry that out thinking there's a screw underneath, but there's not. It's held on with what's known as a tolerance sleeve, or commonly in the Porsche world it's called a crush sleeve. It's this little corrugated band of metal that is friction fit, holds the knob on. So the way we get that off is take a open-end wrench that fits on the shaft here, and you take a hammer and you just whack the wrench to drive the knob up and off. Now, if you're doing this in the car, which you probably are, be real careful, because I've seen people lean over, hit it, and knock the knob right into their forehead. So you don't want to do that. Okay, the next thing we're going to look at is the various knobs that we offer for the RennShift. So the way we designed this stick was the outer surface is smooth, just like the factory shifter, and it's the same diameter. So the factory knob will fit on there. Inside the factory shifter is just a hollow tube, but inside the RennShift there's threads. It may show up a little bit better on this lighter colored one. So there's internal threads inside the top of the stick. We have various knobs that we offer to go with the RennShift. We have a black anodized one that threads onto the stick here. We've got a black plastic, just plain round ball knob. Screw that on and thread it down. We have two aluminum knobs, polished, and the brushed finish to match the finish on the shifter. The polished one looks real nice on the black anodized. This is the shift boot that comes with the RennShift. So that's one option. We call it kind of the RS style. thread this knob off. Pull the boot off. Of course, then we can change out the stick. The sticks are available separately, so if you start out with the RS look, the silver shifter with the mini boot, and then you decide you're gonna make your car a little more stock, you could swap out the stick, purchase a black stick instead, mount that one to the shifter, and then get a factory boot. This is factory 73 and later 911 boot. And that'll slip down over the shift knob. Over the shift handle, slip the factory shift knob on, and you have what'll pass by most people as a completely stock look. And then of course it's real easy to go back to the fun racer look. Simple as just going back to the other boot and a different knob. Okay, now we're going to discuss the installation of the factory shift knob, because that seems to hang up a lot of people, and it is a bit of a pain. So I showed you the tolerance sleeve earlier, the crush sleeve. This is a broken open 915 shift knob, and this sleeve was inside of this shift knob. So it's just a smooth sleeves inside. The crush sleeve fits inside of that. Now, the way they're selling the shift knobs now, if you buy one of these new ones, it'll have the crush sleeve inside the box, but it'll be coiled up really tight, sitting inside the knob. So what you want to do is get that out of there. You may have to use like a dental pick or something to fish it out. Pull that sleeve out and then expand it. So you want to stretch it like this, so it becomes like this one, opened up, bigger than the diameter of the stick. Then you'll put that, you'll squeeze it together and put it up inside the knob. Of course, this is the part that was resting up inside of this knob. So you take your new knob, actually squeeze your now expanded crush sleeve, slip it up inside, and push it on all the way up in there. You can't see anything if I demonstrate that, so I'm going to do it with just this sleeve. And here's the top of a RennShift stick. So we're going to push that up in there, and we take the shift knob and slide it down. And you can see that it starts to slide onto the stick, like so. And so what you'll do is make sure it's aligned as you do that, your shift pattern is aligned. You take a soft rubber mallet and just tap the shift knob the rest of the way. Of course, that's broken out of there, so I can't slip it back on. But with the shift knob in place, make sure your shift pattern is aligned and just tap it down. You can also just try to do it with the heel of your hand. Just drive it down, and that's it. I feel that it's a lot easier just to screw down the knob, but then you lose the shift pattern. There are a couple other options. This is an aftermarket knob that has a set screw in it, and so that one you just slide on and tighten down the set screw. Not sure where those come from and how available they are, but that's an option for shift knobs that are out there. Here's another type of aftermarket shift knob. It has two set screws. You thread those down, and then the pretty common knob is the Momo and Sparco, other brands like that. The way they work is similar to this, They slide on and have a set screw, but then they have a little collar that goes up and threads on and screws up and covers that shift knob. So those will all work on the RennShift. If they work on the factory shifter, then they'll work on that. And then, you know, there's a huge variety of shift knobs out there. A lot of people think that there's the old Amco knobs, the wooden knobs with the shift pattern that have been around forever, and people think that's their factory knob because it was put on, you know, back in the 60s. So it practically is. But the actual factory knobs use this crush sleeve method, and it will work on the RennShift. And so that's, I believe, is all the information I have for you on the shift sticks, shift knobs, and finishes for the RennShift Performance Shifter.